It is becoming a problem, Paul, isn't it? This whole NBA rest your star thing.
I think we're seeing it up close right now. Here's the thing that I have, Les. You made the decision to remove Brian Shaw as head coach at a time when losing games should have been the priority. You made a business decision when it should have been a basketball decision. Now, as we're seeing tonight, Ty Lawson, Kenneth Faried, and I believe Gallo are being rested, not by their choice, but because now the Nuggets decided to tank. So they go 5-1, 5-2, something like that with the Melvinator, Melvin Hunt. You get out of that.
You've already given him a nickname?
He's got a nickname now. He's rolling. You get out of that 5 spot in the lottery and you drop down and you lose your chance at getting one of these elite players. There's 3 of them in this draft, maybe 4. So you made a basketball decision when it should have been a business decision. Now you're going in the opposite way. I feel like they screwed fans twice in just a month.
It is very odd. But I don't know that the Nuggets management knew the team would be revived under Melvin Hunt. I think they just thought they had a bad team and the losing was going to continue. I really do. But yeah, you're right. It does seem like they made the wrong move initially, and now they're making the wrong move again. I don't know. I believe they have the 8th worst record in the NBA right now, which decreases their odds of getting a high draft pick. There's still time. There's still time to fall to 5 or 6. I don't think they'll get to 5, but they could fall to 6 or 7. It's just been such an odd season. Do you think Melvin Hunt has a chance of sticking?
I think that he should walk into the office upstairs in the penthouse suite and said, if you're going to sit my guys now when we're playing this well, I better be the head coach next season. Because they've taken it out of his hands now. He's done a wondrous job with a group that was really broken down, won a handful of games, maybe when you shouldn't have been winning, but he did a great job. If you're going to take away his best guys, he needs to be the head coach next year. I think what tonight says, not having Ty and Gallo and Kenneth Faried, they took it out of his hands. And it's a bit disrespectful to me, I think, when the president hires a coach and then he doesn't show up to talk to us when he fires him. And then you make the decision to win games over a 2-week stretch, and then you take away the players that won games from that head coach. There's a lot of disrespect over there. I know I've been far harder on Josh Kroenke than anybody else has. I have yet to read in some places that he's done a poor job, but he's done a poor job. And twice now, he's made decisions that really hurt the future of the franchise in favor of selling tickets.
You talk about disrespect. I want to turn it just a few degrees here. To me, the fact that they're resting Faried and Gallo and Lawson tonight shows disrespect to the ticket buying public. What Kerr did on Friday night here in Denver showed disrespect to the ticket buying public. What Popovich is doing in San Antonio shows disrespect to the ticket buying public, shows disrespect to their network, their TV network partners, their radio partners. If I were an owner and I'm paying, the average salary is $5.2 million a year in the NBA, and some guys I'm paying between $20 and $25 million. If I'm paying out that kind of money, I want my players healthy, and I want my players playing so that I can buy tickets and recoup some of that money I'm paying them. So I understand how it serves the teams well in the long run by resting players and getting ready for a playoff run, but I think there are other ways to keep them healthy during the season besides resting them for 5 to 10 games a year when people have paid top dollar. These tickets are expensive. Top dollar to see their favorite players play.
One point about that is if you do rest guys now, you have a better chance, if you're a playoff team, of playing longer in the playoffs, and that's even more ticket revenue. Yep. The one problem I have with is doing it now when you're clearly out of the playoffs, like the Nuggets are. That's a slap in the face.
Well, there are a number of areas I disagree on, and I've told you when we talked about this briefly the other day that when you go to Broadway shows, you're disappointed. But it's still a Broadway show. You read in there and you go, oh, you know, the lead character, Paul Klee, is not appearing tonight, replaced by. I hope you're going to see the show. That, yes, you want to see Steve Martin and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels or whatever. But who won the championship last year? The San Antonio Spurs won it, and part of it was their guys probably were rested to play that far.
I get that.
If you're a fan of the team, and if you notice Steve Kerr when he went back home, he didn't do it to the home fans.
Right.
He played against the Knicks, a team that they played 5 games in 7. They played 5 games in 7 nights.
Well, that was one of my suggestions. Find a way to spread those games out a little bit more, so they're not doing 5 games in 7 nights.
Don't you find it funny that Popovich is a guy who is against spreading the games into July? I brought this point up on another show on Around the Horn a couple of weeks ago. That I'm old enough to remember why they finish when they do, because they didn't have air conditioning in the arenas. Boston Garden, Madison Square Garden were not air conditioned back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, there were sweat boxes.
And remember when Miami played in the playoffs last year, and the air conditioning didn't work?
Game 4,
yeah. Can you imagine that back in the 50s and 60s they were doing that all the time? So now there's no reason not to play into July, unless we assume that the air conditioning is going to break down in San Antonio. I just think that I feel badly for the people that wanted to go out, and you say top dollar. They're not paying top dollar. Those are sold to season ticket holders, unless they're paying it on the secondary market. It was probably family night.
Well, this family that drove down from North Dakota, which I was told about as well.
But you and I learned the other day early
money.
enough that they could have turned around and driven back and gone to Mount Rushmore and spent the weekend in Mount Rushmore.
I'm guessing they've seen it a few times if they live up there.
I just think that having covered the ABA and the NBA for a number of years, that it wears on you. And back then, when they were not flying charter, where they were flying their own private jets, it was even harder. But it's still a trying sport. It's not a contact sport.
But Woody, there are also weeks where they don't play
important?
five nights in a row. The All-Star break is a week long now. You just don't need breaks that long, and then cram 4 games into 5 nights.
2 words: buyers beware. So that's the only thing is buyers beware. That's what happens in the NBA. That if you went to see, let's say the Nuggets were playing well this year, and you wanted to see Lawson and Faried took he was sick again the other night. You know, said I'm sick. Yeah, how badly did he want to play? So, but let's say you want to see Ty Lawson and Kenneth Faried, and they're hurt. And how often has happened this year where either one or both of them didn't play because of
something or other,
or pulled hamstring or something like that? It's probably been 20 games. Would that be fair? So what do you do to those people? You give their money back because they came out to see Ty Lawson? Well, you'd be giving money back all the time for him.
Woody, that's unforceen
Too low.
circumstances.
I have been with a young man at a Tulowitzki Rockies game where Tulowitzki didn't play, and this was not when he was hurt. This is when they go. And I said to you the other day, in positive, it was a Sunday. Why in the world do baseball teams give their star players Sunday off? Give them Wednesday and Thursday travel day off when nobody's in the crowd.
It's a day of rest. Sunday is a day of rest.
No, it's not.